Hello there, you're watching Epicentre on CNN News 18. I'm Maha Siddiqui. As the Omicron threat becomes real, states are pushing for restrictions to prevent a sudden surge and a repeat of the second wave horror. Night curfews, prohibitory orders preventing any celebratory gatherings over Christmas and New Year, curbs on entering public places without full vaccination. Well, the citizens are expected to cooperate. Yes, they must for their own safety and that of the others' health and well-being. But while the onus is on the people, why shouldn't our netas be leading from the front? Rallies after rally, public gatherings ahead of elections and large poll meetings. Why should they not adhere to protocols and not allow these gatherings to become potential super spreaders? The question we will debate this evening: curbs on AAM Aadmi, what about political gatherings?
हम अगले हफ्ते उत्तर प्रदेश जाएंगे और वहाँ भी हम सब समीक्षा करेंगे। उसके बाद जो भी उचित निर्णय किया जाएगा कमीशन ने बैठकर वो हम लोग करेंगे।
21 दिसंबर को भारत सरकार ने राज्य सरकारों के लिए एक स्टैंडर्ड टेम्पलेट जारी किया था। ये इंटरवेंशन कंटेनमेंट, टेस्टिंग एंड सर्वेलेंस, क्लिनिकल मैनेजमेंट, वैक्सीनेशन और कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर से संबंधित हैं।
Joining me on the show, RP Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, Sandeep Chaudhary, RLD spokesperson, Ebab Singh Grewal, spokesperson of the AAM Aadmi Party, Dr. Ronki Ram. He is the chair professor in political science, dean of Faculty of Art, Punjab University, Zafar Mir Abdullah, eminent citizen of Uttar Pradesh. Let me first go across to RP Singh. Sir, there is, all right, we don't have RP Singh at the moment. Let me go across to the other political leaders from the various parties that are joining us. Sandeep Chaudhary, only yesterday in Aligarh rally, we saw a makeshift staircase collapse due to the rush there. It's shocking and startling how parties are taking the threat of the new variant so lightly, sir.
Madam, actually, our government never seriously to Indian peoples. You know very well, Corona came in India and we are preparation Namaste Trump. And other elections like Bengal election, we are already faced, and other state election we are already faced. But our government not serious any time, and election is important for our government. And
लेकिन संदीप चौधरी, आपको एक मिनट यहाँ रोकूंगी। जब आप आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि सरकार इसके बारे में सीरियस नहीं है, आपकी पार्टी की क्या सीरियसनेस है? अगर रैलीज में भर भर के लोग आ रहे हैं बिना मास्क लगाए, कोई सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग नहीं है, आपके पार्टी के नेता को भी तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेनी पड़ेगी ना?
बहुत अच्छा सवाल है मैडम आपका। आपको जवाब दे दूं, आप सभी लीडर्स पे ध्यान दीजिए जो अपनी पार्टी को लीड करते हैं। केवल जयंत चौधरी एक सिंगल पर्सन है जो हर टाइम आपको मास्क में मिलेंगे, लेकिन हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री हो, हमारे देश के गृह मंत्री हो, हमारे देश के रक्षा मंत्री हो, वो देश को क्या मैसेज दे रहे हैं, वो युवा को क्या मैसेज दे रहे हैं? वो सेल्फी लेने में, फोटो खिंचवाने में अपने मास्क का भी ध्यान नहीं रख रहे हैं।
तो जब हमने कल ही एक रैली में देखा है, कल ही आरएलडी की भी एक रैली में देखा है कि बहुत सारे लोग शामिल थे उस रैली में और सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग नहीं थी।
आपका बहुत अच्छा, वो इस बात का मैं आपको जवाब दे देता हूं। इसी रैली के पहले आपने सहारनपुर की रैली देखी, उसका आपने जिक्र नहीं किया। उसमें कितने लोगों को मास्क लगा था, आप मुझे दिखाइए। उसके पहले आपने जेवर की रैली देखी, एयरपोर्ट पर पब्लिक देखी, उसमें कितने लोगों को मास्क लगा था, ये बताइए। और इसकी गाइडलाइन तय करने का काम भारत सरकार का है,
ठीक
इसकी
है।
गाइडलाइन तय करने का काम उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार का है, तो ये किसका फेलियर मानते हैं आप बताइए देश
ठीक
को।
है, आरपी सिंह, I want to come to you since allegations are being made against the government as well. Sir, there is a serious concern and worry when people see visuals of massive political gatherings with no social distancing, no masking up. We've had evidence of numbers soaring after elections in West Bengal. Why take this risk, RP Singh? Is there no other safer means of campaigning?
I'll appreciate if the Election Commission abide or take the advice of the High Court of Allahabad seriously and then need be postpone the election by some time and tell the political rallies not to hold rallies, political parties not to hold rallies. So let Election Commission call all parties together, decide the code of conduct and say that we will not allow rallies to be conducted.
But RP
We'll
Singh, the
100%
question is that the rallies and political gatherings have already started. The Election Commission hasn't taken a call, but can political parties, can the leaders be responsible?
I seriously say that yes, we all political parties and even including my party should consider it, and then need be all party meeting can be called where the mode and code of conduct can be discussed and can be charted out. But other than that, we'll appreciate Election Commission should immediately take in cognizance of the High Court order or High Court advice to the Election Commission. And
But sir, I'll come to you on that count, because that advises about polls being deferred. Now, polls can safely be conducted by the Election Commission. The problem that most people believe is because of the large political gatherings ahead of the polls. That is why I asked you, is there no other safer means of campaigning? I'll come back to you on that question. Let me go across to Ebab Singh Grewal of the AAM Aadmi party as well. Sir, in Delhi, your party has imposed all sorts of curbs on people, and rightfully so. I understand, considering that the fear of Omicron and with the surge that is being seen globally is a matter of grave concern. But will your party follow up with a responsible behavior in Punjab elections too, where you are contesting, or for that matter of fact in Goa, but more so in Punjab?
Ma'am, we will follow whatever instructions are given by the Chief Election Commissioner. If the Allahabad High Court, the Honorable High Court, feels that they should be deferred, they have a right to say so, and everybody will follow their instructions. But you have to understand, politics can't be done in isolation. When elections are declared or when elections are around the corner, if one political party holds a rally, other parties will be bound to hold rallies. And we totally understand the need for being responsible in this time, but the center has to show the way. And the center has not even stopped flights, international flights coming into India. So they are not serious. Elections are their par trip. So they will not. And anyways, if the Chief Election Commissioner can be summoned by Mr. Modi for the meeting, he can obviously, if he really cares about the people of India, he can always tell them to postpone the elections in UP and Punjab.
Ebab Singh, it is fairly convenient for the other parties to lay the blame on one party alone and say that since they are not showing us the way forward, we are not going to follow any of these protocols. But the Health Ministry is saying that they have in fact issued protocols, underlined these protocols to all the states, and they should be following it. Let me go across to Ronki Ram. I'll come back to you, Ebab Singh. Sir, when people's lives are put at risk just so that elections can be won, elections can be fought, why don't the citizens respond at the ballot? How are citizens expected to express their frustration at the ballot?
You see that when we are talking about elections during the COVID time, the first question would be, do we need certain, SOP to be followed during the elections, or can we could have been postponed if we are sure that there were enough medical evidence that the third wave can surge anytime. So why we did do this? We know that. I'm giving you an example of the rural India, especially the rural Punjab, where I come from and quite often visit my village. We find that in the cities, of course, during the peak COVID crisis, people used to follow to a large extent, this mask and used to take care of when the cases were rushing to the city's hospitals and there was no bed. But still in the villages, there was a feeling that corona is only in the cities. Villages are safe because the immunity of the villagers,
But sir, where do these myths generate? Is it because people see the leaders in a certain way conducting elections, being out and about? Does that give them an impression that COVID is just a myth? Because we did hear some reactions from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, where a reporter was talking on the field, asking people why they are not masking up, and they said this is just a media hype.
So the question was that, the question of not the myths, the question of how as a value system, how as a, our sensitivity to the disease and how our concern for that. We find it that in the villages, people were of the opinion that we did not find deaths in that case. Few maybe. And if you can find you do a survey in the villages.
But I don't think that assessment was correct, sir. In the second wave, we saw not only urban but in rural areas too. The impact was grave, and that was really a matter of concern. I'll go across to our other guest, Zafar Mir Abdullah, joining us from Lucknow. Sir, in UP, you'll see people having virtually given up on wearing masks. Is this callousness a fallout of the messaging from our political leaders?
Yes, it is not only the carelessness of the parties and the messengers who asked for the Section 144, etc. It is the carelessness of the individuals also, as well as of the leaders, because they play a double standard. If it is in their interest, any particular program, whether it is promotion of any of their programs, they relax it and do not follow it. So they have to follow it as well, whether it is canvassing for the elections or for any political groups, whatever they are organizing. So they do not bother about it. We have seen that in various cases, last year also, when there was Raksha Bandhan, they have relaxed 144. And when there was Muharram, they had night curfew as well as for the day curfew. So that is not good. They should be normal in their behavior, whether they should be strict with all the individuals for whatever.
All right. Right. Fair enough, sir. You are saying that the messaging is not correct, and perhaps that is why people are also lax about the issue of whether they should be masking up even now. And when we are seeing the threat of Omicron being so real, let's quickly take a look at some of the curbs that have been put on the general public in this case of Omicron, and because of the fact that it is extremely contagious and spreads very fast. Look at Maharashtra. Section 144 has been imposed in Mumbai till 31st December. Section 144 means technically no gathering of more than 5 people at a certain time. Seating cap on indoor and outdoor events. These are some of the precautions that Maharashtra is taking because of the number of cases it has seen in the past as well. Entry into public spaces only for fully vaccinated persons. Now, let's take a look at Delhi. Ban on social and cultural gatherings till the 31st of December. Meanwhile, no Christmas and New Year celebrations are allowed as well, clearly because public gatherings have been stopped. 50% cap on seating in bars and in restaurants. Now coming to Karnataka, ban on mass gatherings across the state. 50% seating at bars, restaurants without DJ, and all revelers must be fully vaccinated. So both Maharashtra and Karnataka making it mandatory that if you want to enter public spaces, then you must be fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, Haryana is saying entry in public spaces only for fully vaccinated post the 1st of January. Again, Haryana is also using a similar route, and Punjab is saying no salary for government employees who cannot show that they have been jabbed. So all these restrictions are for the common people. Let me go back to our guests now. While we understand that these curbs are necessary, should not similar standards be followed by the political parties as well? RP Singh, first point I want to take from the number of points we've pointed out. Should parties ensure that those coming for political gatherings are fully vaccinated? Like for the citizens, there is this curb now that they can't enter public spaces if they are not fully vaccinated in at least 3 states we pointed out.
Ma, I 100% go with you on this, and I'll appreciate the state government should look into it, especially the law and order and the health being the state subject. They should immediately intervene into this matter and ensure that anyone who goes for any public gathering should have the double vaccination. This will not only ensure that people who are coming for the gathering are taken care or on a lesser risk, but also ensure that people get whoever are left are get themselves vaccinated also. So this is appreciable, and I hope the state government will look into it.
But sir, how are political parties going to follow this?
Simple. If the state government, like for example, Delhi government or Punjab government or UP government or Uttarakhand government or wherever the election is or wherever the election is not, they have passed rules. For Maharashtra has passed rules that there will be night curfew or there will be not more than gathering of five people. 144 has been promulgated. So obviously things will follow. Or for marriages they have said that not more than 50 or 200 people. Some number has been given for that also. But again, as I said, state government should go hammer and tong on this and ensure that this is followed, and then should be backed up by the law and order agencies to have it followed up.
All right, Sandeep, आपको लगता है क्या कि जो political parties हैं उनको exactly वही norms follow करने चाहिए जो कि citizens follow कर रहे हैं? तो अगर हम prohibitory orders की बात करें, section 144, अगर वो आम जनता पर impose हो रहा है कि 5 से ज्यादा लोग इकट्ठा नहीं हो सकते, तो ये political gatherings पे भी होना चाहिए?
जी बिल्कुल मैडम, मैं आपके साथ जाऊंगा। सबसे पहले मैसेज हमारे बड़े पॉलिटिशियन दे सकते हैं। अगर वो इन चीजों को फॉलो करेंगे तो आम जनता फॉलो करेगी, क्योंकि हमारे जो बड़े पॉलिटिशियन हैं उन्हीं को सारा देश फॉलो करता है, चाहे वो बीजेपी का वोटर्स हो, चाहे वो आरएलडी का वोटर्स हो, चाहे वो दूसरे दलों का वोटर्स हो। लेकिन आपने देखा होगा डबल स्टैंडर्ड है, सरकार के लिए कुछ स्टैंडर्ड है और दूसरे लोगों के लिए दूसरे स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं। तो इसी वजह से इस तरीके की प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट होती है। मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं, जब बंगाल का चुनाव था तो बंगाल के लोगों को और दूसरी पार्टियों को कभी आतंकवाद से जोड़ दिया जाता है, कभी कनाडा से जोड़ दिया जाता है, कभी पाकिस्तान से जोड़ दिया जाता है, लेकिन अपनी रैलियां की जाती है, भीड़ इकट्ठी की जाती है। इसी तरीके से जब आपका कश्मीर का कोई इलेक्शन आएगा वहां आतंकवाद से जोड़ दिया जाएगा। अभी यूपी का इलेक्शन आएगा, आप देखिए एक पार्टी पूरे देश की खैरखा बन जाएगी, वो कोशिश करेगी कि हम ही देश के जो राष्ट्रवादी हैं। अगर किसान आंदोलन करेंगे उनको आतंकवादी बता दिया जाएगा, खालिस्तानी बता दिया जाएगा।
नहीं संदीप जी, आप अभी कोविड और इस पैंडेमिक की बात करिए, इसमें जो भी प्रोटोकॉल्स आम आदमी पे लागू हो रहे हैं, आप मान रहे हैं कि वो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज पे भी लागू होने चाहिए?
वो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज पे लागू भी होने चाहिए। और हमारे तो नेता इतने जिम्मेदार हैं, वो कहते हैं कि कोरोना पीरियड में एक भी व्यक्ति की जान ऑक्सीजन की कमी से नहीं गई। कल जितने लोगों की जान जाएगी ये कह देंगे एक भी बंदा हिंदुस्तान में ओमिक्रॉन से नहीं मरा। तो इन लोगों की क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, क्या इनको बोलना चाहिए, किस तरीके के हमारे मंत्रियों को स्टेटमेंट देने चाहिए?
ये सवाल आप क्या आरपी सिंह से पूछना चाह रहे हैं? आरपी सिंह, डू यू वांट टू रिस्पॉन्ड?
मैडम बिल्कुल मैडम।
जयंत चौधरी ने दोनों वैक्सीनेशन लगवा लिए क्या? या अखिलेश यादव के कहे पे चलने की भाजपा का इंजेक्शन हम नहीं लगवाएंगे, जब हमारी सरकार रहेगी तब लगवाएंगे? और लगवा लिए तो चिंता होगी कि इम्पोर्टेंट तो नहीं होगा इनके जिनके भाईचारा है, इनके साथ गठबंधन के, उन्होंने कहा था कि आप इम्पोर्टेंट होंगे। What are you talking, sir? I mean, let's be clear. Let's all parties put together get into this. I'm saying, including my government in UP or Uttaranchal or that way Punjab or Delhi, every state or Goa, that every state should take care of it, ensure that the order of the High Court need be or by the election, any order by the election
commission. You are coming back to the order of the High Court, but the point here is that while elections, the process itself can be conducted safely, because in any polling booth, people go in one by one. People can stand in a queue with social distancing. All that can be maintained. There is security at every polling booth. The question specifically is about political gatherings and rallies, the massive turnout for those and no social distancing. The question is, why should polls be delayed for the fact that there is no other means that political parties can devise for campaigning. You can go door to door, meet people. Why aren't those methods being adopted, sir?
Maha, you also know our democracy is still far away from where polls can be conducted without meetings or conversing can be done on televisions. I mean, the process is on, but it will take some more years before we come to that where the TV debates can do enough for the political rallies. Political rallies are part of the election process, so political rallies are conducted. For that reason, I'm saying let Election Commission declare that these are the norms. You have to abide by these norms, and let state governments ensure that norms are followed strictly, whether it's regarding the number of people which will come for the rally, or ensuring that people who are coming for the rally are doubly vaccinated.
Ahbab Singh, are we as citizens suffering because political parties, and I include all of them, including your party, sir, are unwilling to find a different way for elections to be, or poll campaigns to be conducted specifically?
Well, definitely the citizens are suffering. Ms. Siddiqui, the Prime Minister is the head of the nation. He should lead by example. If the Prime Minister says that, okay,
so
I will
again
not
you
hold
come
any
back to the
rallies.
same point about one person.
I'm
talking about all political parties. Today I'll ask you, why shouldn't the Chief Minister of Delhi lead the way?
Okay. Let me just complete my sentence. The Prime Minister is the head of the nation. The political culture is such that if the Prime Minister comes out, if he can get half the nation to bang thalis in the evening, if he says that, okay, I will not hold rallies, I assure you, we will be the second ones to declare that we won't hold rallies. But when the Prime Minister goes in the peak of the second wave and says in Bengal, "Main jahan tak dekh sakta hu, mujhe log nazar aa rahe hain," that sets a bad example.
But Ahbab Singh, your party can make a political issue out of whether people should or shouldn't be getting booster doses, but is not willing to take the way forward as far as election campaigning is concerned.
I assure you, in the whole political culture, one party cannot function in isolation. But the Prime Minister, who is the head of the nation, if he just comes out and gives one message that, okay, I will not hold rallies, everybody else will follow. We are ready to follow that. But you have to have a level playing field in politics.
Okay. Ronki Ram, do you agree that all political parties seem to be pushing the blame on the other, saying we don't work in isolation? If one party decides not to hold rallies, okay, we will do the same. Who will show the way then? Is the Election Commission the only authority here that can take a call?
The Election Commission can take a call, no doubt, that we have to follow all parties are there. But the question is, democracy is important. But democracy is important because people are important. Democracy gives maximum importance to people so they can choose the government. Now, at this moment, when the health is at stake, why not? The election can be postponed. What is necessary? Governments are there. They can do for 3 months, 2 months more. You are going to put all the school, colleges, universities, online. Because elections you can't do
but
online.
Sir, we are trying to postpone it. Sir, but the point, so you will appreciate that there is another argument to this. While the world is trying to live in a new normal, why do we need to postpone what is important? And an electoral process is important. The question is, can we not devise other ways of holding it safely?
No, the question was that this disease should be taken, no doubt. A new normal has to be defined. But in the war, the new normal cannot be at the sake of the casualties.
All right. You made a fair point there that we are almost virtually in a war against COVID-19, and the second wave has in fact jolted a lot of people. It should make us realize that COVID cannot be taken lightly. Zafar Mir Abdullah, coming back to you.
No, I want to take 1 second of yours because I will complete it. You said very strongly that the rallies should find people fully vaccinated with the certificates. You tell me one thing, in the rallies where people are coming in crowds, is it possible to first see the certificates, then to allow them into the pandal, then to find them to sit there? Election has its own chemistry.
Fair enough, sir. Fair enough, sir. But if the citizens are expected, say, in a mall, which also has a great number of footfall, to show their vaccination certificates, surely there is a way of organizing rallies as well, by holding the number of people who are gathered accountable, and that you can only do by way of, at least presently, by showing that you're vaccinated. At least you will not end up being a spreader in that sense.
But the standards have to be set by the leaders.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Zafar Mir Abdullah, do you think those standards need to be set now by the Election Commission immediately?
Certainly, because we are expecting a third wave and there's a lot of cases which are coming up. So there should be absolute strictness by the administration, by the government. And one more thing, that when they put on a curfew for the citizens, so there are mock drills, there are flag marches, and these policemen, people from PAC, and other sort of organizations, they are walking shoulder to shoulder, and there is administration, a group of administrative people who are there trying to curb the people not to come out and to impose curfew. So they should also be restricted, and there should be other means also, and strictness has to be done for the vaccinations as well. As if people come out more than 4, they should be strictly dealt with, and there should be uniform standards for all the rituals or programs. There should not be any demarcation.
All right.
There should be strictness to every individual. They should be vaccinated and not allowed to come out till this this news of COVID goes
all right.
So,
fair enough, sir. As both our eminent citizens there have pointed out, and some of the political party spokespersons also agree that yes, similar standards should be imposed both on the citizens of the country as well as the political class. But will that in fact be followed through, and can the Election Commission step in a situation where we are seeing the possibility of a third wave? At least the fear remains. Many thanks to all 5 of our panelists for joining us here on this show this evening. With that, we're taking a very quick break.